Up the top, I'm just going to do the race chart. It's in there. Liverpool's XG is 3.3, Leicester's is 0.32. I just thought it was a hammering. I understand why people think it was a funny game and there's a lot of context on it, for us, for them, all that sort of stuff. But in the ground, as I say, up to about 60 minutes, I just felt like I was watching one of those games where Liverpool should be 2 or 3-0 up.
Yeah, for me it felt relatively flat, but it felt relatively flat probably because of that. Yeah. Because that's a absolute non-contest. You know, there's one team playing football there, and we speak often about coin flips and things like that. That is what it looks like when you get probability in your favour. When you've got an attack that's as busy as that, and your defence is as quiet as that, you'll be alright most weeks. Yeah,
I think the madness is it finishes at 3.3 and Liverpool don't have a shot after 85. I genuinely think if Jota doesn't, sorry, not Jota, if Trent doesn't score when he scores, I think there's every chance Liverpool are racking up like a 4.5 on that, and that it would just have kept coming. It would have kept coming, and Leicester would have been open to it. You know, if Liverpool scored a goal in the 91st minute, and everyone would have said, "Oh my God, last minute winner," I genuinely think there's a chance Liverpool's XG is closer to 5 than it is to 3.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the probability there. Actually, I've just noticed that it's there. I mean, Liverpool, based on the chances that we created, so this model has no clue that Liverpool scored, or that Liverpool conceded, or whatever. Has Liverpool down as 96% likely to win that game. So,
and that's with them stopping.
yeah, that's a seriously high figure. You couldn't get it more in your favour, really, could you? So, deserved win.
Yeah, I think it is a completely deserved win. I want to do a little thing on the past maps, because we're beginning to have more and more of an eye on next season and recruitment, and I know you've done loads of really good stuff on Distance Covered around recruitment a couple of times, and I just want to talk on this one about 9 and 10. So for me, what's interesting here is, theoretically, I mean, he says he doesn't play with a 10. I think we can say he plays with one midfielder who's more advanced than the others. I think more and more you can make an argument he doesn't play with that much of a 9. Look where Diaz is here in the first half pass map. Look where Szoboszlai is on the second half. Gakpo and Salah are just getting involved higher up the pitch as an average. Diaz, if anything, is more of a midfielder.
Yeah, well, we've seen this a few times, haven't we, where like the two central players kind of almost drop a little bit deeper, and the two wide players, because the goal scoring types can come inside and finish the move for you almost. But it is interesting to see how the things developed as the season's gone on.
But in the second half, what's dead interesting is Jota comes on and gets a fair bit of time, and I think plays well and looks quite dangerous, and his average position's deeper than McAllister. Elliott comes on and his average position is almost transposed directly onto Szoboszlai's. My point here is that he's had an opportunity to change that, and he hasn't. He's stuck with what was there already, and Salah and Gakpo are really, really highly positioned. Now Diaz comes out to the left, Gakpo goes off, and that's why Diaz, you can't really quite trust him as an average position, because he's playing two roles here. But it's just striking to me, look where Jota is, look where Elliott is, look where Szoboszlai is. I refuse to believe that isn't what the Liverpool manager wants, because if he wanted anything different, it'd be different.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't mind that, because that suggests that initially, looking at the process up until 60th minute or whatever they come on, he was happy with what he saw, and he just kind of maybe viewed it as a personnel 100%. Thing, switched the personnel around, the ball go in the net. So I'm half happy with that, because sometimes you can change and you can get worse. You don't need to change. If the process is already good, keep doing that process and you will win the game. That's kind of the approach it looks like he's taking there.
Yeah, no, I'm with it 100%, and as I say, I felt all the way through the game as though it was going to come from Liverpool's point of view. You know, I was there. The stats just sort of bear that out massively. It's just a hammering, really. 28 shots to 5, 8 on target to 0 on target. The possession's a little closer than you'd think, but I suspect that's skewed by the last 5 minutes, where Liverpool just said to Leicester, if you want to have the ball, that's absolutely fine. Leicester don't do that much on pressures, given the nature of the game from their point of view, so nothing major there. What I wanted to go on, though, was Liverpool's pressures. So what people can see now is a screenshot of Liverpool's pressures. Don't worry about all of them. For me, the interesting ones, not for the first time this season, Diaz on 30, Szoboszlai on 25, Jota on 10, Elliott comes on and whacks in 5. So you end up in a situation where the two positions that press the most for Liverpool are the number 9 and the most attacking midfielder, and that's been the case so often.
Yeah. I mean, it's arguably why we haven't seen too much of Elliott this season. It's potentially down to not necessarily the endeavour or the willingness to press, but more like the intensity of that position, the demands physically. You know, there could be something in that, and we've touched on Salah getting a bit of a free pass.
He's on 9 there for the game. So Diaz does play two roles, but he gets a little bit longer. But Gakpo's only on 9 for the length of time that he's on the pitch. You know, it's not much work that you're getting through in those wide areas.
No, but it explains some of the links as well. Like, we've seen a little bit of a link with Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez works himself into the ground. Yep. He would suit some sort of pressing game like that. So this is the kind of thing that, you know, we mentioned recruitment there. If this is the plan, you've got to take that into the transfer market.
Well, I'll move on. Here's the pass the pressure network of those players, I said before, the players who played 9 and 10. So this is Diaz, and that's many of the ones, the little smattering on the left, well, not many, 3 or 4 of the ones on the left. This is Diaz with Szoboszlai, and then it's Jota with Elliott. And it's just interesting to me that where the heat map's hot is theoretically where Salah plays.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the level of covering that he's probably doing there, and that free licence that Salah's got. I wrote a piece on this recently, actually, and I think it's very reminiscent of Lionel Messi for me. That latter days Lionel Messi, where he's just getting kind of covered. I don't think Barca had the Szoboszlai type necessarily, but you do have certain players like that who were so good on the offensive end, so good in the final third, that you let them conserve their energy almost, and Szoboszlai's probably key for that.